this is a propaganda which is booming in such a rate that people are trying to change, and especially these youngsters are getting influenced by this idea. This is lay posh. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Nayanthara and Shyama. You always make me feel good on stage. So, without much ado, we'll start. So, why this topic? What this topic? Okay. How many of you have heard about a YouTuber known as Vegan Teacher? You must not have. Yeah. I have also not heard before, but I have seen my little daughter watching that Vegan Teacher, and this lady audaciously, with confidence, was talking about being a vegan. And this child got so impressed because she was so confident and convincing. And this lady was continuously speaking, and there is a lot of, you can go and watch it, there is a lot of videos of her who is advising or advocating being a vegan. So this little girl, she got so impressed and she was asking us, try, why not? See, and especially her talks goes on our common problem, that is ethical movement towards the animals. So this girl got so impressed and she was trying to convince us, why not try? You're not losing anything even if you try. So go try it. So we had to go through the things, what is against it, pro and con. Both we had to go through so that we can convince this girl, we can tell her what is right and what is wrong. And that is the base for this topic. And there were directly and indirectly, I've got queries asking that whether it is for the veganism or against the veganism. Definitely when I'm telling you that it is the rationalistic view on the veganism, it will be against. I'm not telling that against the veganism. We are trying to rationalize what is happening around us, especially in case of the food. When we are talking about the food, we know that the food is very much intertwined in our life. We cannot imagine. We may think that, okay, food, anytime we will eat everything. Anytime, anything we can change. There are cases that the partners will get separated just because there is a dissimilarity in the food that they eat. It is not as easy as we think to eat whatever we get. There are so many preferences because that is so close to our heart and so close to our behavior, so close to our personalities. So naturally what we eat has got something great in our life. That is why when someone trying to convince us about what to eat, what not to eat, and you are low just because you are eating some particular food, that will have an impact on our life and it will be affecting us emotionally or directly or indirectly. So that is what I'm trying to discuss here. So let's start our discussion, milking the truth. So what is veganism, first of all? It's a practice of eating food not derived from animals, typically avoiding the use of other animal products also. So when we are telling that this is avoiding the food, it will be milk will be avoided, meat will be avoided, egg will be avoided, honey, and also these vegans will not be using the leather, silk and wool, which is of the animal origin. They think that all these things should not be used because of various reasons. They have their own reasons that we will be discussing now. Okay, because of these reasons, you should avoid all these food. That's what they think. So that is what is veganism tell us about. And why? Another thing is this veganism has got a lot of supporters now. Over the period of 3 years, almost 600% of Americans have changed or told themselves, are self-identified as vegans. So this is a propaganda which is coming out or booming in such a rate that people are trying to change, and especially these youngsters are getting influenced by this idea. This is lay posh. People love this idea of veganism. It sounds good. You avoid some food and you look good. This make you healthy. So all these things are making them feel good about the veganism, and that is what we are going to discuss now. So the attributes, before we go for the arguments that the scientific reasons that we go ahead with, these are the attributes of veganism. What are the vegans telling? That also we should know. It's not that we are just talking against it. What are their take on that? Why are they so impressed by this term veganism or by this movement called veganism? So it is the attributes of veganism. The first one is plant-based diet. As I've told you, they will be using only the plant-based diet, avoiding all the animal-based thing, even if it's to consume, even if it's to use, such as your dress or clothing or the sandals, whatever it is, leather, everything they will be avoiding. But veganism is not vegetarianism. There is a vast or huge difference between the veganism and vegetarianism, where these will not be taking cheese, butter, or the whatever it comes, milk, curd, all these things will be avoided by the vegans. Especially some of the vegetarians, we know they will be having the egg. So that also will be avoided by these vegans, because they don't want to hurt, or they don't want this milk from the cow is just for the calf. That's what they think. So all these things will be avoided by these vegans. That is why they are little different from these vegetarians. And the second one, and the most important thing that they say, or most capturing thing that they say, is ethical treatment of animals. They tell that the people who eat animals, or the people who eat non-vegetarian, and vegetarian and non-vegetarian, just in India we tell that, it is very typical Indian term, like our co-brother and co-sisters. So they really consider us as very low just because we eat the non-vegetarian food, or the meat and the egg and the other things deriving from the animals. And they tell that animals should be treated equally. They need to be considered as the living organism. Yes, of course we consider them as living organisms. So as the plants, we know that the plants are also living organisms. How can you not consider them then? So this is their main, the arrow to the heart is the ethical treatment of animals, where they has to be treated with equity, and they should be treated very generously. And environmental sustainability, another thing. All these things are very emotional. When it comes from these people, knowingly or unknowingly, you'll just listen to them. Okay, is it true? Because there is no, that's what I was telling. This is directly aimed towards your heart or emotional things. So environmental, we know that our environment is very much, disturbed these days, just because of various things that is unavoidable things. Many of those things which are happening around us is unavoidable. So because of that environment, they tell that methane gas, which is released by these animals, are one of the major cause of these environmental problems. Greenhouse gases, that's why the temperature increases, global warming, all these things. So to save the environment, save the earth, what will happen to the earth, we have to see. So the environmental sustainability is another thing. And they tell that health and wellness, there is no hard and core evidences, but they tell that these vegans or the vegetarian food will lower the health hazards, such as it will lower the heart diseases, it will lower the blood pressure. All these things have been told by them to take the food. And cultural awareness and sensitivity, social justice and equity, as I was telling you, the equity of the animals, we are treating them equally. Even if it's an animal, we will treat them equally, and community and advocacy. And they have the millions of viewers. If you check in YouTube, you will not find much of the videos against or the problems of veganism. Whereas the videos for the veganism, for the promotion of veganism are umpteen. There are umpteen number of videos in the YouTube. So why are they not telling, see, it's absolutely all right, you can tell your ideas, you can tell that, okay, this is good in such cases. But we cannot tell that this is the only thing that is good, right? So these are also told by them as their advocacy. So these are the food that will be avoided by them: beef, pork, as we have already told, milk and milk products, any dairy products, all poultry products, all these things will be avoided by them because they are vegans, and various reasons that we have already stated. So now we are coming to our point, the stumbling blocks that I have found. What are the stumbling blocks that I have found in this being a vegan? Okay, the first one, that they were telling is the treatment of animal equally or by the equity level. The ethical omnivorism is the solution for this. Ethical omnivorism is a term that we use when we treat the animal with respect and as a living organism from the during when it is reared. Reared means till it is slaughtered. If a particular animal is raised or reared for the meat or the milk or whatever it is, till that time, you treat the animal with a proper care. You give them enough space to live. You give them the outer space where they can move around or the graze. So all these things include the ethical treatment of animals. But we are prone to get our nutritions. We are prone to get our food. So it is absolutely all right if you slaughter the animal for our consumption, and we know that this is the easiest source of, the animals are the easiest source of proteins and other major vitamins that we require. Otherwise we will get the deficiency diseases. So what about our ethical treatments? Are these ethical treatments only towards the animals? So what about human beings? Are we not supposed to be treated ethically? If I want to eat beef or pork or whatever it is, if I like, forget about the nutritious or whatever it is, I love to eat these things. Should I be stopping myself from eating this just because it is not ethical? So what about my ethics towards myself? Or the child, we have seen enough children have been killed, or the people have been, malnutritioned, and they have been, I have to tell, they have been killed because of this particular movement known as veganism, because they get inadequate amount of nutrition. So is it ethical to do that? And for example, another thing, you just imagine, you have a pet. So these vegans, they don't, philosophically, they don't tell that you cannot have a pet. You can have a pet, thinking that you will be treating them well. You have a pet, what will you give them? Rice? Salad? What can we give them? Or the legumes? Is it okay? I have heard, I was searching a lot for this, presentation. So I have heard one of the vegan who had changed back to the normal diet. He was telling the heartbreaking thing was his 2 Labrador dogs were there. They died because of the lack of nutrition. Because he was, naturally, if you are a vegan in yourself, you cannot just feed the cat and dog the animal, the food. That is not ethics again. So are we being ethical or empathetic there? That has to be thought, right? So that is the ethical omnivorism, where all will be treated equally. If somebody is interested to eat, interested to eat some food other than this, plant-based or vegetables, they should be allowed. But at the same time, animals should be treated well when they have been reared, if it is for the slaughter. That is the ethical omnivorism. The next one is environmental sustainability. Okay, definitely I agree that methane gas is produced by the animals, especially in the cows, right? The methane gas is produced, and that is one of the major cause for the environmental hazards such as global warming. Okay, what other things? There are direct and indirect things when we are thinking about this veganism. For example, veganism, the vegetables, the things has to be cultivated, tofu and all those things, soy, all these things they eat, they have to be, these things has to be cultivated. Where will you cultivate? We need place. Where is the place available? Deforestation. Right? We have to cut down the places where there are animals, there are the trees, we have to cut them down, and because we have to feed all these people. They need the food for their sustainability. Where will we cultivate? Naturally, we will cut down the trees, and there you can cultivate the plant-based diet that we require. And also the fertilizers. We know that you cannot go organic and feed all these people. We know the problems of being organic, having an organic farming, enough and more than enough, we have heard about it. So naturally we have to use the fertilizers. What about the carbon footprint there? You will be having the carbon footprint there. And the indirect things, you just imagine, you have to transport the substances from one place to another place. Water, how much water is required to water all these plants which we are going to cultivate? Right? So all these things are hidden things which is there, which we don't think at that particular level. Also the nitrous oxides which is coming out of these plants as a nitrous oxide, we know that when they fix the nitrogen oxide also come out. What about that? That is also one of the major greenhouse gas. So we are forgetting about all these things, only we are telling the methane, which is a major thing which is coming out of the cattle. What about all these things we have to consider. And also we know that when we are talking about the animals, these farmers, small scale farmers, the excreta from these animals have been used as a nutrient source for the plants to grow. So they are getting overall, the good things from the animals also. So we can, and also another thing, you are not trying to kill, you are not slaughtering these animals, you are just leaving them to live by themselves, let them be happy in the environment. They will breed, will you stop their breeding? You cannot, you are an ethical person who will be talking against the animals. So they will breed, their number will increase, where will they stay, who will give them food? What are you going to do? Can you adopt all the dogs and cats and the cows and everything that is coming? No, we cannot do that. So where is the ethics? Ethics is only for certain time. Only when it comes, I can do that. Okay, till there it is ethics. After that, you do whatever you want to, right? So environmental sustainability, these are the problems that they say, but we also have to think about other problems that is coming along with it. So the best practice is the sustainable development where everything will be taken care of. Little amount of emissions will be there, but other things also have to be taken care of. And the other thing is low energy and weight problems. You must have seen these vegan, if you have not seen, just take a few, the videos, not even this vegan lady, all the others also take and see. They've all, look so thin and devastated, so malnutritioned. First, you will feel good when somebody turns to vegan. Naturally, see, even if you stop, we all stop eating these, the sugar, direct sugars and various other things, we will also lose weight. But when you just switch to the vegan first, a drastic change in your weight can be observed. You will feel so good. People will also feel good. Wow, this lady looks so good. So, you will, but after that, it is a dip. You will lose weight. Eventually, you look so malnutritioned. So that has been, because you lack the proteins, you lack the other nutrients which you should be getting from the meat that you are taking. So that is the biggest problem, low energy, up to an extent, okay, weight loss is there, but after that it will be really a biggest problem. And leaky gut issues. Leaky gut issues, otherwise it is known as the intestinal leak, okay. We know that our intestine is permeable. Permeable means it will allow certain substances to move in and out of this intestine because they have small pores in them. Okay, so what happens in our, we require so much protein from our food. So we are not having, if I am a vegan, I will not be having any of the meat. So I have to compensate it with the plant diet. So these plant diet proteins will be taken from the soy milk or soy products from the soy or the legumes, right? So these products will have certain substances such as lectins, oxalates, etc. They are known as anti-nutrients. They are there in animals also, but they are more in the plants, and we have to consume such a lot of plants to compensate this energy. So these oxalates and these phytic acids, lectins, these are some of the anti-nutrients. So when you consume it for a larger amount, what happens? Your gut will be permeable, or the intestine will be permeable to these such bigger molecules also. And this is known as a leaky gut. This may lead to the movement of even microorganisms and other pathogens, and more of water, more of nutrients from whichever should be taken to our body will also be filtered to the blood. So there are chances that, when I'm telling all these things, don't think that all the vegans will have all these problems. Definitely not. All those who drink will not get a liver sclerosis, right? So these are the possibilities that we should know, because before being an advocate of something, we should know what we are doing. That is the entire point. I'm not telling that all the vegans are bad, all the vegans will be having all these problems that we are stating here. No, definitely not. But these are definitely major problems that we should be knowing before we cater to some of the things such as veganism. So this is a leaky gut. So if you are a vegan, you have the chances, because you are taking so much of legumes and so much of soy substances for the protein intake, and that can lead to the leaky gut issues. The next one is hormone disruptions. Again, the zinc, okay, the zinc in the food, okay, and all these things, what they will do, they will have some of the hormone distractions, and even the soy substances that we are taking, they will have the phytic acids. Okay, these phytic acids again will have the impact, especially in women during their menstrual cycles, during their pregnancies. All these things will be having a big impact. Even thyroid hormones will be affected because of thyroid gland will be affected because of this. And the zinc, when there is more of zinc in your food items, there are chances that thyroid gland will be affected, which will affect the hormone known as thyroxine, and it will have impact on your body. Even phytoestrogens are there. Phytoestrogens, that is also there in the soy products. That will have a big impact in your menstrual cycle, your pregnancies, all those things you can see because of this, that excess taking of this vegetarian food. This will be there in legumes, soy products, all these things will contain this. And we have to take these food. That is the problem, because we need to fulfill our protein requirement. Next is lack of iron. And we know that lack of iron, we know where do we get irons from. We know the components of food from 4th standard. We have been reading this, we are learning this. Still when it comes to our food item, we just act as if we have not seen that, or we have not experienced that, or we have not learned that at all. We think that having the leafy vegetables itself will fulfill all our iron requirement. But it is not like that. We require our meat, egg, fish, and many other things. Even the liver of the meat will have a lot of iron substance content in it. And we know what happens when we don't have the iron content in our body. Hemoglobin will not be there, and our blood will not be able to take the oxygen from heart or one part of your body to another part of the body. Naturally, the person will be always tired, fatigued. They will not be able to do their work. So the lack of iron is also. Another one is risk of vitamin B12 deficiency. This is also a major problem. Vitamin B, this you must all be knowing, vitamin B12, omega-3 fatty acid problems. Because that we get only from the fishes. If you don't take the fishes and the meat, what will you do? You have to take the supplement. Of course, supplement you can take. People, how many of us will be able to afford taking the supplements then and there? Even the iron, we can tell that we can take the iron supplement. Definitely, of course. And if you ask me, avoiding all my favorite food and taking a capsule will not give me the satisfaction as that of the other one. And the vitamin B12 deficiency will be there in our body if you don't have the meat and if you become a vegan. And risk of depression. How? Depression and veganism, how? So, the hormones, okay, some of the hormones will be having an effect on our dopamine, okay, dopamine, and we need the omega-3 fatty acid for that. Omega-3 fatty acids will have the effect on the serotonin and dopamine. If you don't have enough the omega-3 fatty acid in your food, so their release, the hormone release will be affected naturally. So if the hormone release is affected, you will have mood swings. Thus, in turn, it can lead to the depression. Again, I am not telling that all the vegans will have the depression. Definitely not. But there are chances that if you don't, say, how will you manage? How will you know that you are taking all the nutrients in adequate amount? Definitely we cannot, right? Otherwise, you should be, you should be that careful enough to do that. Of course, we will have the give and take here and there. So omega-3 fatty acid is important for the release of this dopamine and serotonin. If you don't take it in adequate amount, you have the chances of mood swings. Eventually, it can lead to the depression. And risk of developing an eating disorder. Eating disorder, that's what I was telling. So first you are taking a few, you're turning to vegan, you will have a few substances you will be eating, and you don't know, after that you don't know where the line is. You're eating, you're avoiding this food, you are avoiding that food, and where will you reach? And first you can see the difference in your body. You are losing weight, you're looking good, you're good, okay, altogether you're fine. But where will you draw the line? Eventually it will lead to many of the eating disorders if you turn completely into that strict dietary plans that you are following. And maintaining cultural diversity. And we know that, especially when we are coming to here, I'll come more to the India. We have a lot of cultural diversity here. And at the same time, we have the biases also towards the food. Religious biases are there. right? Cultural preferences are there. We think that the people who are vegetarians, not we, the people who are vegetarian think that they are always superior to the others because they eat the non-vegetarian. And one of my relative had told me directly that because we all eat non-veg and these animals cry loudly, that is why the environmental changes come. No, I'm not joking, it's serious. So, all together, oh my goodness, I'm a non-vegetarian, I'm eating all these things, I am also reason for this. So people really think that people tell, right, that if you have religious people at home, if you eat non-vegetarian that day, before you go to temple, you have to take a bath. Because you're pure if you take a bath. If you eat non-vegetarian, you're very impure. You're all venom or something in your body. That's how they treat us already. And altogether, and this vegetarian, once you're a vegetarian, you always have the tendency towards a vegan also. Okay, you avoid few more things and you are a vegan there. And religious biases. Some religions will eat meat, some religion will eat only the chicken, some will eat only the beef, some will eat only the pork, some will not eat the garlic, some will not eat the onion. There are already enough biases in our religion. And we are a religious country. We know in our family itself how many of us have got such tick marks. This I'll not, this I'll not eat, this I'll not. This is not because of your personal choices. This is because of our religious biases. This is also there. Umpteen are there in our societies. Right? And superstitions. My goodness. Don't even have to ask. Curd and fish together? Never. My goodness, what are you talking about? It is going to kill you. Right? And this food, rice, oh, this is too hot for you. White rice is hot, right? Some foods are very, very cold to your body. That entire topic, superstitions and food, can be taken as an entire, topic for the entire presentation. That much superstitions we have about our food. Along with that, this also you add on to this veganism also we are adding to it. It's altogether a big, fantastic Deepavali going on, right? So, these are the things we have enough number of cultural biases and cultural diversity are there in our food. Along with that, when this is also coming to play a part in our food, and this is literally, doesn't make any sense. It is making things much more complicated than how it is in normal. And definitely we have to go with the evidences. As the first speaker had told, if you were here, go by not by your, heart, sometimes go by your mind, the brain also. Definitely we know that animals has to be treated well. Okay, all these things we do agree. Everything is fine, absolutely all right. But what about the other things? What about the nutritional deficiency? And is it okay to pay so much to get your nutrition when we can get it in a very cheaper way? When it is available in your hand readily, why do you have to pay for these things in the medical shop and get the nutrient supplements and take it? And that too, that doesn't taste any good. That doesn't give you any satisfaction of having your food. This is the time for us to think. It is not against any veganism, but definitely it is sure that more they go by their ethics, their empathy, their compassion. Definitely agree that there should be compassion. I've heard somewhere someone telling that one of the 21st century skill is the empathy and adapting to the changing environment. Definitely, I agree. Empathy is there. But empathy not only towards the animals, empathy towards plants. Why not empathy not towards the plants? Because they don't have emotions, you don't need to show the empathy. They're also living things. Not empathy towards the children whom you are forcing to take the vegan food. Not empathy towards them, why not? Not empathy towards other people these people literally put you down. They make you feel that you are doing such a big mistake taking the animal food. Why not empathy towards those people also? That is where science come to play. We have evidences, and all these things what we have told, as I was telling you, this is not that all the vegans will have all these problems we have stated there. No, definitely not. But where are as I was telling you, the teenager who is becoming the vegan because of this so-called the Leposh thing. It sounds good, okay, yeah, vegan, it sounds good. Are they known? When they are telling their propaganda, okay, change to vegan, save the environment, save the animals. When they are telling that, they are supposed to tell these things also, science also, not just empathy. Talk about science, what happens. Talk about reasons. Why don't they do that? That should be done, right? If you're talking something, you should tell the pros and cons. Where are they going at that time? So that has to be the propaganda behind them. So it is not that just veganism should be there. They should be talking about the negative or the cons of their veganism also. And we should approach everything with an idea of the rationalistic idea. And having non-vegetarian is not a bad idea at all. It is good. You are getting your supplements, you are getting your happiness, you are satisfied as an individual. Why not? Nowhere the reason tell you not to have the non-vegetarian. So before you become, if anybody is planning to become a vegan, before you change to a vegan, think, rationalize, and have the scientific temper when you approach the food item. Not even this vegan food, any other food. When people tell you anything about the food, approach that with a reason. We have enough resources around us. Go find out the resources and identify what to eat and what not to eat. It is your personal choice. No propaganda should be shaking you to eat what you want to eat. No propaganda should be telling you not to eat anything. So the vegan, why are we telling that? This is literally like, people, it's like a wave, veganism wave. People are changing drastically. So each one of us should be aware about the consequences of being a vegan, and we will be telling that to our children. At least the next generation should be knowing all these things. So empathy, science and compassion. Definitely, empathy and compassion also comes, but we should be scientifically tempered and rational in our approach towards the food. So, thank you so much. This is the thing that I had to tell you.